Yo, call me a dark beginning the way pregnancy I'm not bringing. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Games Cage. Today and only today, I am here to finally sit down, talk about and review Shadow Dark Beginnings. We just had the final part, and I figured instead of doing them for individual episodes, since they were pretty short, I figured I would wait till it was all done, sort of do a review. And I think the way we're gonna do it is we're gonna sort of break down story, animation, characters, and voice acting. Just get really deep into it because this is something really special. And so, of course, if you'd like to see more Shadow content, we are about to get a lot of stuff with Shadow Generations and however much. And of course, even an extended version of this. Make sure to subscribe to your boy and let me know what else you'd like to see from me. So Sonic Shadow Generations Dark Beginnings was announced earlier this year and was announced to be a sort of prequel to Shadow Generations campaign in the game. So it was never meant to be like a full, complete story. It was meant to be, a little prequel. Now, they've been doing these prequel animations for a while now. They did one for Team Sonic Racing. They did one for the Knuckles prologue for Sonic Frontiers, which was incredible. And they even did one for Sonic Superstars with, what was it? Sonic Triple Trouble, however they called it, where these were sort of these prequel things. I've seen a lot of criticism from people being like, I wish these were in the game, or at least cutscenes in the game or things that happen. But for me, I mean, look, these are harmless story things that of course would be nice in the game. It's cool that it's going to be in Shadow Generations, at least on PlayStation with an extended version. But for me, these have always been just really sick. And I'm really glad that Sega is invested in making unique animations. The fact that they're actually trying to make cool shit, animate stuff. And I feel like it's something they've been doing since Sonic Mania Adventures. I feel like Sonic Mania really established that, all right, from now on, we are making an animation for everything, because it has been non-stop since then. Now, we've always gotten Sonic animated content, but you know what I mean. Now it feels like every game, no matter what, has one. Even Colors Remaster had one, so they just do them for all the games. I'm so thankful for that. But this one had a lot more sauce and aura from when they announced it, showing a panel of it, the key art, how Kirk Thornton was talking about how, he finally had voice direction, how we found out Maria was going to be a character. It felt like there was a lot more excitement, and we found that it was going to be split into 3 parts, and now we know why, right? Because overall, pretty short series. I think the total runtime, if you, remove credits and maybe, the intros and stuff, it's about 12 minutes of content, basically just one episode of a TV show, which, man, please Studio GigX, Sega, all of y'all, get in a room and make a full series, because I can already tell you, before even sitting here reviewing it and everything, everybody loves this and everybody wants more. So from your Sonic hype man to you, Sega, I'm begging you, asking you, please, and I'm telling you it's gonna thrive. Make a full series. Give these guys 8 episodes, 12 minutes each, however you want to do it, 12 to 15, 20 minutes. I don't care. Give them 8 episodes. Let them go all out, because this animation team, with Ian Flynn's writing, with Sonic Team backing it, with all the moving parts, with the vocal music, we could get something incredible from this series. Probably could be the best animated thing they've ever done, because this, I will tell you guys right here, right now, is probably one of the best, if not the best, animated project from a Sonic series point of view. I really think, if I think of fully animated things, I would think, what rivals it? I mean, you think of the Unleash opening, that was pretty peak. Sonic CD opening, I would put this honestly in that top 3. Maybe you could argue the Knuckles prologue is incredible, that you'd put it up there. Obviously, in the comment section below, let me know what are some of your favorite Sonic animated projects, but this one is pretty incredible from start to finish. So the idea here is this is re-establishing Shadow. In fact, we don't have an ounce of Sonic in this. Not a flashback, not a picture, not a glimpse. The only thing you get Sonic related here is Roger Craig Smith voicing Omega and Abe Tower, who was, the gun commander, which is still crazy, and we'll talk about that stuff. But very bold all the way, for Sega to be like, Shadow is so cool and popular and dope that we can just lock in and have him be the star of the show. Like I said, I found it bold that there was not a single glimpse of Sonic here. Shadow can carry his own series, but the series starts very depressingly, right? You are getting your 50 years flashback on the arc, and the idea here is to show 2 things. 1, the illusions that Black Doom are causing on Shadow, and 2, to establish a bit of Maria, because I gotta say, the number 1 thing this series did for me was, oh my god, I get it now. I get Shadow and Maria's relation, because in the past, we knew about it. We always knew Shadow hurt over losing Maria. We always heard glimpses of it. We've always even seen artwork, of them looking into the stars. We've gotten glimpses and understandings about Shadow's relationship with Maria. But man, seeing glimpses of it in action really makes you understand why he is the way he is and why he's so hurt. I mean, you know, from the way that Shadow would be talking about how he can't cure and he'd be upset, and she would always tackle and hug him, which is always what she would specifically do when it happened to him. Whenever he'd get upset, she was the light in his darkness. Like, I think of that shot in episode 2 where Shadow's looking at the black arms creature that's in the vest, and like it all fades to darkness, and as soon as she hugs him to get him out of the darkness, light shows up. So they really established this sort of feeling of Shadow being angry about what he is, right? Angry about not being able to take care of her, but being with her is something so important to him. And I feel like that's something that's so well established. Obviously, the last episode depressingly shows this with him on the ship, you know, flying back to the Ark and getting glimpses of the life he wishes he got with her, which that broke me, man. That really did break me, right? And I know I'm going all over the place, which is probably how this video is going to be, but I gotta say, man, just incredible job. I really think the best compliment I can give this series is I don't even want to make jokes about Maria getting shot anymore, because now I know really how much trauma and weight that holds for Shadow. I feel like they did an incredible job of showing it and making people really get like, dude, there's a reason he is the way he is, bro. This shit fucked him up severely. Let's talk about this, you know, in order. So the way it starts is, you know, you get the flashback 50 years ago with Maria, but something is wrong. When Maria holds his hand, he gets glimpses of the gun shoulders about to shoot him. He gets into his fight with Emerald, which is canon, something he did, but he then punches Emerald and the glass shatters, him understanding that something is wrong. He's like, wait, this order is not how it's supposed to be. And I gotta say, I really love how they handled this next part in here, right? Where basically he's falling through the ground. He sees Gerald strapped to the chair. He's watching him. It's Gerald, and he's chasing him as the light, you know, as he's like sort of flashing backwards. It's unbelievable how they did the direction down to the point where, you know, Shadow's just falling through the sky, and the way they portrayed Maria's death was incredible. You just see these dark clouds where you're seeing the events unfold till you see that purple light shooting. You even see a little laser light pointing to her heart, dude. That gun hit her entire heart, which is so awful. It hurts so much. And then it flashes forward to present day where Shadow's like, what is going on here? Could it be that Black Doom survived? So we have the establishing that Black Doom survived. Now, my theory that makes sense is that when Eggman triggered the Time Eater, he triggered the return of Black Doom, right? And I think Black Doom was maybe able to keep his memories or do something. That's how he's back. Now, we don't really get to see any of Black Doom in this series. Shadow's just aware that that's happening. And then we then go on to episode 2, right, where the story follows Shadow invading not a gun base, just one of Eggman's bases with Team Dark. And man, let me tell you, bro, having Team Dark here again, chef's kiss. I was so happy seeing Team Dark again, and seeing their dynamic for me was just so cool. Even I gotta say, I mean, Rouge, for as much as I don't necessarily like the voice actor for it, she did an incredible job, and it was cool just seeing their dynamics, them fighting alongside each other. It's such a Team Dark thing for them to just be fighting like crazy while talking shit, you know, and having that sort of relationship. And I gotta say, with Shadow, bro, oh man, we'll talk about the action. I really want to get into that, but I gotta say, story-wise, you know, they sort of raid this gun base. You know, Rouge tells them, hey, if you help me with this, I'll take you to what's called. Hey, you gotta go to Sonic's birthday party, which obviously is a setup for Sonic Generations. Now we know why he's not at that birthday party, because his mission is to go back to the Ark because he sensed an interference. Now, what's cool about that is, again, you're getting these glimpses throughout of him and Maria through all this. Like I said, there's that shot where Shadow's looking at the Black Arms alien, and they're saying like, dude, what? I'm part of this thing. You know, I'm a creature like this. And what's crazy about it is you actually see Abe, the gun commander, as a kid on the Ark, running away and calling Shadow a monster too. And right away seeing that, I think stuff like this is so cool, because I feel like it retroactively makes older games more interesting. You know, because I feel like now if I went back to Shadow 05 and I saw the gun commander, I'd be like, damn, like, this guy actually had a relationship with Shadow and Maria. You know, he's someone who actually grew up with them, and he probably has some trauma too. I mean, I'm sure seeing everybody he knew on that ship die, like, it hurt, right? And I'm sure it's a big reason he is the way he is. I don't know why he's got the 2 different color eyes. Probably just a cool character thing, but it was just cool for Sega and Saiki to even bring him back, because he really is a character they could have retconned out of humanity, but brought him back and made him cool. I love that we got to see it the last episode, the adult version of him, when he stops the cannons from shooting Shadow from leaving. And I love his dynamic with Rouge, like saying like, hey, like, he stopped Black Doom, I owe him. When he should have known I would help him. And it's really, I love that, because again, he's one of the few people that technically grew up with Shadow, so he knows him. And I feel like I love that sort of moment where Abe, tells Rouge like, I would have helped him, he would have had my backing, he didn't have to attack and do it. And then Rouge telling him like, look, he's not gonna listen to anybody. In fact, there's only one person he'd listen to. And you know what's funny is when she said that, I thought she was gonna be talking about Sonic, to be honest, for a second. But then, when you think of talking to Abe, he was just like, yeah, and she was gone long going, oh man, I mean, you guys know where it goes then. And even the moment at the end where Shadow sees those flashes and he's like, stop, I have to get back to the mission at hand. It's just, I don't know, man. I think they did an incredible job establishing Shadow, because I feel like while story-wise, this thing isn't necessarily a complete story, it's a prologue. I think the biggest accomplishment this thing did was really showing the relationship between Shadow and Maria and really reestablishing Team Dark. What I like about Team Dark too is that they're a team that sort of, from what I understand even from here, they just gather together when they need to, which is really cool. Because even here, Shadow, sort of shows up. He doesn't even know Rouge is there. Rouge is like, yeah, I got Omega to come do this mission with me. It's not like they hang out all the time, but if they got to do a mission, they work together, bro. And that's when we get into a bit of the animation, because oh my God, bro, let me tell you about the animation. Chef's kiss, bro. They absolutely cooked with the animation. It is incredible. I think they did a phenomenal job with it. This is one of the best looking Sonic projects we've ever seen. And let me tell you where it starts. This entire thing is made in Blender, which is a 3D software. If you notice, there's some shots in 3D. I will say there's definitely some shots where things can look a little awkward, but let me tell you, when it matters most, they lock the fuck in. I cannot tell you how many times I have rewatched the fights, because what's incredible about the fights in this series, it's not just mindless spin dashing, mindless fighting like ora ora, like they handcrafted every attack. I mean, look at the fight with Emerald, right? Just the movement they're doing. You can even see Emerald learning Shadow's moves as he fights, because Emerald's whole gimmick is learning what characters do. And so you see a moment where Shadow does the spin dash attack on him, and then Emerald learns it, does the spin dash for them. They're both going at it arm in arm, and the camera pans to the legs doing this crazy fancy footwork, and it's so well done and so well thought out. And going on to even just the second episode too, with the action set piece with Team Dark, where Shadow is like sliding under a rock while Rouge is doing some blasts into a kick, Omega getting some shoots in there, and then Shadow does this crazy shit where he's fighting some of the robots. He's fighting one early on in the beginning where he sort of goes all around it, kicks the sword back at it, and flies backwards. There's a lot of little moments. If you watch it frame by frame, it's incredible. They even do some Looney Tunes type shit where he grabs one of the robots, spins, and they go into a bit of a tornado before he tosses it, and I think that's so cool. And even down to Rouge, like Rouge, that's this little cool kick movement that she's doing and attacking, which looks incredible, and Omega obviously just blasting his way through shit. In fact, you can see Omega being very silly constantly. I think about episode 3 when they're just standing in the beginning, he's just like pushing a robot off of him, or when they're walking into the gun base, he's shaking a robot off of his leg. Like, I think they do a lot of cool shit with Omega, down to that shot where he's like smacking the his gun onto the ground pavement. It's just, oh my God, this team is incredible. And oh my God, let me know obviously what your favorite fight moment is, because I adore one of my favorites. I think it was in episode 2 where Shadow does that crazy speed boost where he does like the Zenitsu anime thing where he flashes all the way up to the top and punches to the ground, which is incredible. And like I said, man, for a thing that was made on a free 3D blending software, which is available to everybody, oh my God, they cooked, man. The direction of the fighting was so sick. I even think of episode 3 when he's getting chased by the rockets. If you slow it down a little bit, you can see every move. I think they did an incredible job with the animation. Like I said, besides some moments where the 3D looked a little awkward. In fact, even that moment where he sat on the ship at the end, it does look a little silly when you really look at him. But again, for the most part, they cooked, and I would take an entire series like this, please, please, please. And I want to talk a little bit about the characters in this, because obviously, you know, Shadow is the star of the show. Now, obviously, we don't get a full character arc because, you know, we're getting that in the game. This is just a prequel. But I will say it was really nice getting a reestablishment of Shadow, right? And if anything, you get a bit of an understanding how Shadow's evolved, right? You see in episode 3 when he opens up one of the gun members' ships and he goes for the punch, they intentionally make you think that he's going to kill him, but no, he hits the eject seat button and gets him out and destroys the ship. So you can see a little evolutions in Shadow's character. You can just see also just the trauma he's holding, right? Obviously Black Doom is also messing with him, but you could see just how stuff with Maria really messed him up, how he's thinking about it and how it bothers him. And I think they did a good job. And of course, Maria is so sweet. I mean, she is such a sweet girl, and you can really see why Shadow cared for her a lot, and her character design is incredible. I think they did such a good job with them two, especially the most. I mean, just you get glimpses of the character, but man, my heart, bro, my heart broke when I saw the ending of it. You know, I think they did such a good job with that. And the other characters don't necessarily get too many highlights. Gerald doesn't even say a word. It's cool that we at least see him. Emerald, we don't really see a word, but again, he gets a cool fight in there. But I will say Rouge and Omega definitely get their flowers, because it's cool to just see even Rouge have a dynamic again. I feel like we haven't seen Rouge do anything cool in a long time. I even think in Sonic Prime, where she's a main character, Rouge is a little bit silent. So it's cool to see Rouge reestablished. I want to see Rouge do more cool shit, man. I mean, I guess she was a main character in Sonic Dream Team, but I do like that they're caring a bit more about Rouge, because Rouge the Bad, obviously being a baddie aside, she's cool as shit. I mean, we're talking about someone who is a spy, who is a combat fighter, who is a character that we also haven't really explored too much character-wise. And I'm not saying that this made me want, like, you know, a Rouge series, but I would love to know just, you know, what Rouge's life was like a bit more, because she really is a fucking cool character, right? And of course, Omega being Omega is really funny. But I gotta say, man, big props to them on the Gun Commander, especially, man. Having Abe, you know, now he's named, the people pointed out that his name is from the Arch comics. Having the Gun Commander have like a bit of a personality now, stuff like that makes the older games retroactively better is really cool. In fact, another element that I really find cool, now that you think about it and go back to it, is when Amy hugs Shadow, it hits different, you know, because again, Maria's love language was that she would go hug tackle Shadow, right? Immediately after he was upset. So that makes, I feel like, Sonic Adventure 2 better. I feel like anything that retroactively makes something better because you know more about it is a massive W to me. And of course, another final thing that I really wanted to talk about was the voice acting, right? Because we've talked about this, and I want to make a full video about Sonic voice acting in general, but there's been a long conversation about the current cast, how they've been changing now that they actually have voice direction, because that's what's happening. You know, it used to be that they were just like, hey, voice these characters, but now it feels like they gave them direction. I gotta say, man, Kirk Thornton Shadow, fucking incredible. I think they did such a good job. There are so many moments where he locks in, when he says chaos control, when he's even talking to Rouge about being like, I've heard that there's something going on with Black Arms. Like, obviously I'm not doing his voice justice, but he does an incredible job when he's talking to Maria, when he's even describing the Black Arms. He's just like this foul creature. Like, he does a fantastic job. Now, I don't think he's at the levels maybe of Jason Griffith's Shadow yet, but I think all that matters is he locked in. I mean, he is really establishing himself as Shadow the Hedgehog, and I really love that, man. I was so happy with the voice direction. I really like Maria's voice as well. She did really good, and like I said, Rouge was a notable character for me, where again, for the last 2 years, the new Rouge voice actress, I have not enjoyed the voice she gives the character, especially in Dream Team. I thought she sounded awful, but here she's got a bit of that sass, she's got a bit more personality, and like I said, it's all, oftentimes you have talented people, it's just the direction you give them. If you can tell someone to just go in the booth and do like a raspy voice, a cutesy voice, a sassy voice, they're just gonna give it the bare minimum, right? But if you tell them, you know, a bit of the character's backstory, why they are the way they are, you know, how they should approach the scene, I feel like you get a much better result. And like I said, it's so good. And I gotta say, Omega, Roger Craig Smith, is incredible. I want him to stay that way. I just love the little moments where he's just like, I call dibs, right? Or when he's like, I wanted to defeat him. He's really funny, really good. And I've always loved that about Omega. He's just like a psycho killer robot that is somehow tamed, which I love that about him. And of course, Abe's voice acting really good also by Roger Craig Smith, really dope. I'm happy, man. I'm happy with the voice direction. And overall, man, I mean, I am happy with how this thing turned out, right? Obviously, let me know what your favorite part of it was, favorite animation, but I gotta say, dude, like genuinely from the bottom of my heart, thank you to whoever worked on this, everybody worked on this. Like, thank you guys so much, because I really think y'all crafted something here that fans are gonna go back and watch for a long time. And I feel like, again, this is still a prequel, so we're gonna see how his story continues in Shadow Dark Beginnings, but I really think we need a full series. I think these animated shorts are getting too good to just have them be shorts. You know, the Knuckles prologue I think it was incredible, and now this being so incredible. Like, I want more. And even when they do the Sonic Mania, like classic Sonic shorts, those are good, man. I mean, I think of the Sonic Mania one, that's so good. Think of the Sonic Triple Trouble one, they did that, looked so good. Like, I just think these cities just lock in, man. Just absolutely lock in. But overall, I adored Shadow Dark Beginnings episode 1 through 3. I could have used a bit more length. You know, sometimes the CG on regular interaction moments could have been a little awkward, but besides that, I was happy, I was hyped, and I want more. So guys, thank you all for watching. Let me know what you all thought. Of course, I will see you all next time. Peace out.